and welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of longtime friends and internet nerds transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons, and critically fumble a lot. Unfortunately, sometimes on things you're supposed to be really, really good at, and I feel so bad for Clarity about 60% of the time, because it's usually you poor thing. But hey, as long as you guys have a reasonably healthy reaction to the RNG hating you, that's okay. That's an RPG horror story I don't want to have to deal with. I have before. I will never deal with it again. Anyway, previously, the Cupcake Coterie have been trying to put out fires of a sort all over, Equitas in general, but Ambier specifically. Unfortunately, they tried to put it out metaphorically by pouring metaphorical water on it, and not necessarily being aware that the metaphorical fire was a grease fire. Woomph. Summation being at this point that all but 3 of the Azamar in total are either dead or Aranese. There is a giggling lunatic with a unstable bomb running around, which they might throw at a god if it doesn't explode in their faces first. Either way, you probably don't want to release that much raw, chaotic, and frankly angry radiant energy anywhere. But there's still other shit to do. They finished the apology tour. Yay. Okay, fine.
One down.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was kind of unfortunate that a certain paladin kind of hurt the Calatail's feelings somewhat. This Calatail wasn't involved in any of this. Poor sod. I kind of wonder how Remy feels about the fact that, it's like I was congratulating you when I gave your wife a pocket dimension. Remy really does not count the cost. Yeah, okay. It's a very different charisma than most people have, I think. Yeah, they've been exploring the new take on the Magnificent Mansion, which, because it's Alizé, is not the fanciest place in the world, but we're probably going to have a hard time prying Clarity out of it. It has animals and books. Hell, it has animals and the Elonian version of AO3.
Yes.
Clarity is going to have to let go of the book and Jigaimo before anybody leaves, because those can't leave the house. So yeah, it really is just, we're probably getting to about that time, and there's, as I recall it, Clarity was still being princess carried by Hazel with Jigaimo in her lap and the book. So she's probably not even listening to we have to go and meet Professor August. We have that meeting, which we have to take her to dinner apparently, because she is one of those professors that gets involved in shit and might not necessarily remember to eat all the time. Of course, I'm now curious as to whether Clarity is reading fluff, angst, or smut, but that's just me.
Angst.
Figured. Because we don't get enough of that here.
It's a hurt comfort. It's okay.
Like we don't get enough of that here.
Warmth.
And Sheree is like, Clarity?
Hold on. Finishing the page. And done.
Okay, are you marking your place, and if so, how?
If I leave a bookmark, will it stay?
And Alizé is just, I think so. I just Probably better not to dog-ear the pages, though. I don't know how this place is
No.
going to feel about it. Look, I don't know.
No.
Okay,
No.
okay, you might have been one of those people who thought it was cool. I don't do it, mostly because I haven't had a whole lot of books of my own anyway. If they belong to somebody else, I'm not doing anything to them. But I know some people who are perfectly cool with dog-earing pages.
She's petting the book. Like, no, no, no. I would never do that to you. She takes a page out of her notebook and sticks it into the
Yeah.
book.
It's like, everybody's looking at me. I said I didn't. I just know people who do. Why does Barnabas look like he wants to put them all in jail?
That's incorrect.
Oh.
That's guilt you're seeing.
Yeah, no. Alice would not misread that. So this kind of looks Barnabas over. Barnabas?
Well, if it's my book,
I wasn't going to say that. I was just going to say if you do it here, the house might have to hurt you.
well, they're not my books, so I wouldn't, but understood.
Sometimes people, like, forget in the heat of the moment.
I'll control my heathen ways.
And Cherie is like, when we're on our way to the academy. Actually, no. I think the academy student union shop has bookmarks. I am buying you all so many bookmarks, particularly you, because if we ever enter into a relationship where my books become at least in part your books, you're not doing that to my books.
Understood.
And Jagaimo is just sort of mostly asleep. Purr. Yes, unfortunately, you're going to have to break the sacred rule and remove him from your lab.
It was nice while it lasted. I'll see you later. Don't hate me for moving you.
Actually, Jagaimo, just you move him onto the. I'm assuming Hazel put her down by this point, so just moves Jagaimo to the spot next to the sofa. And this cat doesn't even move. This cat just happily stays loaf. Move, stays loaf. And then just kind of does that crawl into from loaf to bread roll.
I don't think that cat could hate you if they tried.
Gotta wonder. I wonder about. You gotta wonder about what, summoned animals of this type are like compared to like the normal ones. I've never been sure. I haven't spent that much time around summoned critters, but I'm pretty sure most badgers don't behave like Norman.
Yeah, Norman is Norman, and Norman is Norman, and I think that's about all we got there.
I think if you tried to baby carry a normal badger, they would claw your face off.
I'm sure he's like, it depends on the badger.
Probably.
As I understand it, the badgers around Zlato over here, back in my... They're fine. They're casual little buggers. Anything south of that, they're an entire different breed of badgers, and they give zero fucks for anything. And yes, they will very much claw your face off, and anything else they can reach.
Mm.
Still not as bad as dune cats, however. Shall we?
Mm-hmm.
I can explain about dune cats while I'm walking you to the academy, showing you the student union before we do anything else, and bookmarks. So many bookmarks.
Trying to remember, did we ever have dune cats explained to us or encounter them while we were wandering?
Yes, because I very specifically remember Clarity going, "Aw, little apex predator." I have a pretty good memory for some things, you know.
Oh boy. Yeah, Clarity saw them and
No, they were just explained to you guys. It was being told that they wouldn't generally go for the face, but because they are very small, they go for someplace lower. And Darwin being, yes, I understand. Like, oh no, my junk. Because that is kind of what they go for. That was a while ago.
An explanation, something about them aiming south, and Darwin cringing, and Clarity doing that thing where she delights in apex predators being apex predators.
Shuri, silent image. This, you know, black-footed cats, like that. But you know the Munchkin cats with really short legs. They're kind of like that. And this is the actual size.
That explains why they go south when targeting.
It turns the image around and... Okay, most of it looks like the cutest little Munchkin ragdoll. Opens its mouth and its teeth are not so much cat but barracuda.
Those are teeth! Jesus Christ.
Those were some nice chompers.
Turns it again, claws. When they're extended, it's kind of like very small raptor claws.
That thing's entire front end is made of blades.
Oh, they're on the back end too. And they will use them. The problem with them is that, you know how displacer beasts, like woofles as a for instance, I'm assuming you're walking at this point,
Yeah.
you struggle to hit them because you don't know exactly where they are? When you're in the presence of dune cats, because they do roam in packs, it's similar, but they're so cute that you can't bring yourself to hit them.
So it's a charm effect?
Something like that, as far as any of the people studying.
That's... Oh boy. Yeah, that's gonna make it hard to survive those if we ever run into them.
Thankfully, those are mostly Alamavere. I think the Academy keeps a pack for study. Small pack, mind you, but...
Well, I'll just be happy if they don't get loose.
No, as I recall, the last escapees were 2 weeks ago, and those were the, I didn't get the full details, but it was something about too many birds.
Too many birds?
Yes, well, it's still better than the, than the experiment that just generated chinchillas. Looks at Ryland's face, silent image chinchilla.
Yes, that is a critical mass of fluff.
So how do you mass generate chinchillas like that?
Arcane power. Most of this city.
You know spells like summon woodland creatures?
So they just like do that spell across very long stretch of time. How?
Or someone built it into a golem or a contraption here.
Basically, someone built a summon chinchilla spell into a box, and it malfunctioned, so it just kept summoning chinchillas from the void.
The chinchilla void.
Well, they have to come from somewhere. It's as
Mhm.
good. It makes as much sense as anything else.
It just reached into the cosmic space where all of magical energy sits and just started yanking whole chinchillas out.
It must have been a Mr. Cleanup.
Welcome to Egref. We're all about coulda, not shoulda.
I mean, some people got some pets out of them, and because they were summoned rather than actual living chinchillas, some people made a game of chinchilla croquet.
And this time you said instead of chinchillas, it was just birds.
They were pretty, mind you. Unfortunately, their song sounded a bit like buzzsaws.
Hmm.
Have we seen an Egrefian buzzsaw?
Probably not, no.
What in the hay is a buzzsaw?
Shows.
Is it anything like a blender?
Shows.
Why is Egref like this?
And because you're actually on a fucking street waiting for a trolley when Hazel yells this, you get about 5 or 6 random pedestrians going, "Science is the question and the answer is always yes!"
Right. The answer is always yes. That's why. Because it's yes. Because yes. That explains everything.
This little old gnome gentleman, so smaller even than the average, hobbles up on a cane and goes, "Yes,
Thumbs up.
that is correct." And there is another thing that I would say to you, young whippersnapper. If you do not like it, the train station is that way.
I love it here. It just always confuses me.
Embrace the random! And then starts hobbling away.
Completely stunned by this whole encounter.
Alice says this is what you get for saying that kind of shit on a public street. Do you just forget there are people other than you? And us?
No. I just don't always realize how loud I am.
It's a fairly crowded pavement. They'd hear you unless you were like whispering.
Again, really bad at volume control. I think I'm speaking in a way that we'd only relatively hear, and instead it just comes out at full volume.
Maybe there's something wrong with your ears? I don't know. The trolley comes and saves Hazel from it. And one thing that does actually occur to me as you guys get onto the trolley, those seats are not comfortable for a fucking Azamar with permanent wings. You know what? These things don't go all that fast. I am going to sit on the roof.
Anything attached to the roof? Like, to cables, or do those go below the thing?
They go below the thing. It's not that fast. I should be fine.
Okay, good.
Whoop. The fare taker is like, I don't think I'm going to charge her for this. Because she does not occupy a seat. She occupies a roof. And I don't think anybody else wants that seat. You see, the Arakakra, they only fly. They don't use the trolleys so much, so I suppose we don't make it for wings. Anyway, I do not want to get off schedule. Chugga. And yeah, it's not a hugely long ride, but it's a little bit out of the various main drags. And okay, hands up who's even seen any of the Strixhaven stuff. I'm pretty sure Smeagol has. Yeah.
I
This
funneled through it and then some.
this makes Strixhaven look normal.
Oh, so this place has gone full is it tier nonsense.
This is, I mean, it's, well, first of all, it's the architecture in Egref in general follows the rule of go big or go home. This place sets the standard and then surpasses it. There are a fair few buildings that you can tell just by looking have very solid walls and very thin roofs. These have largely been decorated by what you've got to assume is kids getting Egrefian about art. It's basically the better form of graffiti art rather than just simple tags. There's some buildings that, never mind glass, they seem to be built out of crystal. There are
Many copper pipes are just everywhere.
most of those are underground, but you do wind up with the occasional wire coming from this weird, pointy, tall metal thing sticking out of one of the buildings. Which, if you get anywhere, look, 20 feet away, you can almost feel it in your teeth.
What?
I imagine you get used to it. And yeah, the kids, and because we're coming up on the dinner hour, there are a lot of kids.
Taste that. That's not normal.
The kids, every age from like maybe 12 to somewhere around the younger of you's ages, the 18, 19 kind of mark, are zipping around. The quad is kind of set up to look like a chessboard. You can imagine that some of them do that combination living chess LARP thing that they were doing on the in the Conundrum Pavilion. Some of the flowers growing around that space, however, don't look like anything you have ever seen, and for some reason, some of them smell like bananas and some of them smell like engine grease.
Anyone else smell that?
Yes.
A weird combination of smells.
Probably the gardens. And yeah, not too far from the living chessboard, there is a fairly large bulletin board where, you know, kids, as they're zipping through, will kind of check. They check the board for things, and some will look interested, some will look disappointed. One half-orc is just kind of appears, yes, 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 and then
That looks like some pretty intense good news. I'm gonna look at what the guy saw.
you don't know which one of those, because this thing is covered with
Wait.
announcements.
Oh, hold on. Where was he even looking? How does one discern from this?
Oh, that's like there's some great announcements. There's some sign up sheets for what you assume are field trips. There's somebody is looking for a lost baby mimic, which
Oh no.
yeah, it's kind of like the bulletin board at just about any like university, student union, or other place of that type, combined with like free cycle, because there's also looking for, giving away, etc., etc., etc. Notices of when somebody has after hours tutorials. And seriously, some of these kids are having to nudge other bits, kind of flip them up so they can see the bits that are underneath. And if Hazel is still watching, the thing is like 3 deep in memos and announcements.
Yeah, now and I'm going to move a little bit closer and just kind of try and see if I can spot anything regarding Professor August, just out of just sheer curiosity at this point, and how much this professor we're about to encounter is going to be all over the place.
It takes a bit of digging, unfortunately, given the tone of the message, but you do find one that is effectively Professor August's office hours. Don't.
It just says don't.
Yes, that means their privacy.
It just says don't. Why does it just say don't?
They don't want to be disturbed, I guess.
Yes, I think it was probably the only way to say that at the time their office hours were being put aside because they were on leave or similar. Winter leave is a thing that happens. I don't know if her office hours are still open, but I did make an appointment. But first, Student Union Gift Shop. We're going to be competing with a terrible lot of students and seeing the school cafeteria. The duck and cover rules are in effect. And starts leading the way.
Back in colors?
We're looking for the every gadgets, aren't we?
No, I'll say no. We have the every gadget bookmarks.
Bookmarks, the book, right? Brain, fuzzy.
Yeah, the building that you are approaching. You know those really elaborate gingerbread buildings that you see people make over the holidays?
Oh no.
This is like what would happen if somebody made, like, a small shopping mall out of gingerbread.
Wait,
You don't know if it's actually gingerbread, but it sure as hell looks candified.
how? This is bigger than an entire block in Goldendale.
Alice says Goldendale has like a block.
This is bigger than everywhere from the Golden Bough all the way over to and I'm just like processing which
Alice is kind of grabbing. Doesn't matter. Let's go.
processing and just sort of starting to lose it in getting lost in the sauce and getting dragged along.
Alice says, I'm amazed that it's about the size and not about the apparent building materials.
I'm going with what I was told earlier, embracing the random. I'm just thrown by that someone managing to make it this big.
It might not actually be gingerbread. I wouldn't put it past them at this point, but it might not actually be. And
Nerdy's gonna sniff the wall.
it does smell like gingerbread, but that still doesn't signify in a place like this.
I'm not going to lick it. I'm just gonna walk.
And yeah, the doors are those. Of course, you guys out of character know glass sliding doors. In character, all you know is the 2 sheets of what look like spun sugar, but probably aren't, open as Cherie approaches. We can't hear you, Marion.
Maybe now?
Yeah.
Sit, well,
leans out. Are you coming?
Oh, right.
And yeah, inside is the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka. I haven't seen the other one. It's industrial and weird and very candy themed. There is a cafeteria over there which smells good.
It's going to be edible? What is happening in here?
The stuff on the steam tables doesn't smell bad, doesn't smell like gingerbread or candy, and it's about the only thing in this place that doesn't. There is a sign that looks like it was done in chocolate, which points to a downstairs leading to pool and gymnasium. And then there is effectively the student union store, which is kind of like a miniature Target. Well, I say miniature, it's a Target, basically. It's clothes with, yes, this place has an emblem. You know how every fucking university has its own. Apparently, whatever sports team they have are referred to as the Flying Sporks.
Huh.
Nope, not gonna ask. I'm trying to ask. I'm gonna go even crazier.
And there are T-shirts and sweatshirts with the phrase "Science is the question" and the answer is always yes, and that kind of thing.
I'm just going to scoop up a sweatshirt with that on it. I'm keeping this because if I don't get one of these, I'm gonna forget. I'm gonna say something stupid again.
They basically have the entire the kind of merch you find with a university sports team. So apparently they have competitive something, just not really sure what. And you gotta wonder who they compete against.
Good God.
And Sherry is just at the cash desk picking up multiple bookmarks.
Clarity's gonna get a handful of them too.
I was actually buying you some.
Oh,
Yoinks the ones that she picked out of her hand. This saves me having to try to guess what you like. So
thank you.
I am turned up with the sweater, just resigned.
Sheree doesn't even look. Yoink. Yeah, gives a golden and hands out people's bits. Hazel winds up with sweater foomp on her head.
The cleric is locked in place.
So basically, like a cat when you throw a blanket over them.
Yeah, kind of. Just say. Cleric is error. Cleric has gone to full error and is gonna be a while before Cleric unerrors.
Turns to Clarity. I'm leaving that to you.
Gonna poke her in the side multiple times.
Thankfully, nobody's giving you shit here. This is Egref Academy. They expect weird here. Is Hazel going to remotely reboot?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Good, because we're going to be late.
Yeah, following.
Yeah. When they have to cross the quad again, and currently they're kind of swimming against the students heading for the cafeteria, because they don't bat an eye at the fact that it looks like a life-size gingerbread house. Goes to what seems to be the administration offices, and attached to a very tall, very narrow, very white spire of a building, there is... Honestly, it looks kind of like an afterthought, like somebody kind of built a box of a building alongside it. So you have this beautiful kind of, I don't know, Lord of the Rings elves kind of tower, and then you basically have a brick.
It's just on the side.
Yep, pretty much. We want that, but we do have to go in through the main building. This is because, in case of issues with the lift, it would be unfair for Professor August to be obliged to do any of the stairs.
Right.
Also, she requires a bit more space and is not all that interested in the delicacy.
Why am I willing to bet that whole thing where you said she could turn someone into a singularity?
No, she can create a singularity that can turn somebody into something that would fit within a coffee mug.
I'm willing to bet that whatever forces are involved in that happening probably would tear the walls off of just about anywhere.
I doubt it's that much that when she practices, she does it in one of the designated practice spaces. Points at one of the ones that was clearly built with, like, really thick walls and very thin roof. In fact, if you scan, you'll find a bunch of workmen apparently patching up a hole in one of them.
It's like a fortress, but it turned it into a funnel?
Well, if something explodes, it's easier to just replace the roof. And that way, debris is less likely to fall on people.
It just goes straight up and then comes back down.
Mm-hmm. Instead of any passing pedestrian getting hit broadside with about 5 foot of wall.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Well, in we go, I guess.
they walk in, and youngish human, so it might be one of the kids working for their ground at the reception desk. Hi. Hello to you, sorry. Can I help you? We're here for an appointment with Professor August. Through there, you can announce yourselves in there. Good luck.
Uh-oh.
I want everybody to make a perception check.
Oh, no, not that.
It's just as well. Everybody's rolling good today. Except Hazel. Which is kind of a shame. Because what this kid has, or at least seems to be working on as you pass by, is book cover art. It appears to be apparently supposed to be for a children's book, and it has moderately familiar looking half elf with a very familiar big green bow. It seems to be themed around Hearthhome the farm. Those picture books for kids. The cow goes moo, etc. Basically, everybody but Hazel notices that this guy is apparently doing cover art for
That'd be a children's book.
The Hearthheart family home, and Barnabas in particular notices that they somehow they know exactly what some of the pets in Hearth Home work, because that cat that seems to be glaring balefully at the farm in general on the fence post is large and yellow and fluffy and is basically Noop. Yeah, he's just sketching along. Looks up because everybody seems to be looking at him like, what? Oh. Turns it over. Sorry. Yeah, I know, that's why sorry. You have an appointment.
Right.
Yes. You have a really nice art style.
Thank you. Yeah,
Wait, what was that just now?
Don't worry about it. We have an appointment.
Nothing at all.
I'm sorry, if you wanna insight versus deception on Barnabas, feel free to do so. Because I would have let don't worry about it slide, but nothing is just nope.
Insight 25. Good luck.
Barnabas is lying.
You know you can roll deception.
Very much lying.
I'll get it out of you later.
Yeah, you enter through a door that is in keeping with the pretty of the reception lounge, and you wind up in kind of looks more like somebody's foyer than anything else. It's, there's a door on one end and there's carpet, but in place of a table there's a small desk, and sitting at that small desk, hands moving faster than anything living should be moving, is humanoid, female, at least in terms of shape, and entirely made of blue steel from bob haircut to articulated toes. Not wearing shoes, is actually wearing clothes. Somehow this doesn't help, but she's apparently doing it anyway.
Hello?
She doesn't even say it. She doesn't even look up. It's you would be the Cupcake Coterie and Ms. Belascu. I would invite you to take a seat, but I believe we do not have enough in this room, and I should warn you that most of you will not fit into Professor August's office.
Good to know.
She actually puts down, she seems to have crocheted. It went from nothing to crocheted hat. Powder blue crocheted hat. With pom-pom. How she managed the pom-pom while you guys weren't looking, you no idea, but finishes, thinks about it, kind of hands it to Clarity. I simply do this to retain manual dexterity.
Thank you.
I have included holes that your horn should fit through. Then draws open a desk drawer, pulls out a roll of parchment, and when she unrolls it, it seems to be a floor plan of the office beyond. And it would appear that there is one corridor to a small empty space in the back, and just about everything else is books. Apparently not even bookshelves, just books.
Are those shelves or?
Some are. I have as yet been unable to construct the additional shelves remaining, largely because the books keep appearing. It is difficult to keep up even for me. I do have other duties. But you, points at Barnabas, and you, points at Alice, will be unable to even enter the room without knocking something over. And for the rest of you, I believe only one or two of you will actually fit inside.
All right.
I understood that dinner was potentially in the offing. Was there any decision made upon where?
I think we had we mentioned this?
We did come up with where we're taking them. I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
Well, you were thinking of places you wanted to go. But Barnabas, Clarity, you're smart.
Mhm.
Maybe you should ask Steele over here
Shit.
what Professor August likes.
Mm.
Does Professor August have any preferences as to food, culinary things?
You might be able to lure her out of her office if mentioning Toolies.
Toolies?
I will be accompanying, so if that is your choice, I will direct you. Now, who is entering to speak with Professor August? At the very least, to offer this invitation. Or I can offer it to her if you wish.
I'd like to go.
Very well.
Just me, though?
I'll go with you.
And Alice is like, I can't. She is, I could, but my job ended at the door, so.
Good luck, babe.
Sure. Thanks.
Opens the door, and yeah, there are some bookshelves, but mostly it's books. Stacked. And yeah, Alice's wings would have knocked at least 3 things over before she got like 2 feet. And Barnabas, bull in a china shop, nothing. Bull in a second-hand bookstore run by a aging hippie who partakes too much of the wheat.
Mm.
I see what she meant. Bit of a squeeze for Barnabas and Amazon.
Yeah, not even. It wouldn't be so much a squeeze as they step in the door and something goes thump.
Clarity's gonna skim through the titles, just give a quick glance.
To be fair, none of them are anything you would have heard of. Some of them are in languages you haven't heard of.
Mhm.
But I will say for the record, because sorry, fuck you, because I am not going to think of the titles for several hundred books.
Oh, sure. I get it.
You notice some things that you might be interested in looking in at later, but you also cannot see how you would get them out of that pile without everything falling over on you.
Well, she's just trying to get a sense of like what sort of topics are particularly of interest.
Okay, yes, you see, if you led with that, I could have summarized with, does it have words? Which,
She's worse than Clarity.
which ironically is what I had to tell one of my exes when we were still dating, and he was like, I give up every time I look at you. You're reading different genre, different author, different... What do you like to read? What is your criteria? Does it have words? If I get bored enough, I'm reading the ingredients list on the cereal box. Dave was a problem. Anyway. You do, while you're kind of skimming, you get sort of a thunk, thunk, thunk. Come in! Come in! You are my 5 o'clock.
Yes.
What does my 5 o'clock want?
Well,
We were hoping to invite
Wait,
you to dinner.
I didn't know you were going.
Huh?
I didn't know you were going in with her.
Oh, I didn't I say?
She did.
If
Fine, you got muffled,
was-
I think.
yeah.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. If I'm looking at like 2 or 3 different people, you gotta make absolutely sure I hear you. So yeah, in which case it's probably a little bit more that Ava kind of gets bottlenecked by Clarity looking right up until the come in. You are not my students. I suppose you could be my students. Please don't be my students. I'm still trying to have a holiday. Okay, fine. It is mostly my own fault that I have not had one if you listen to still. But anyway,
We are not students.
I think that one might disagree with you.
She would love to be, I'm sure, but
I would.
Wait a minute. Do you really think that you have to be going to an institute of learning to be a student?
No, I'm learning
I'm not
all
talking.
the time.
I'm not talking to you. I know you understand this. I
Oh,
like
okay.
you.
I
Did you ever go to an institute of learning?
would I?
As you were a
Not
noble,
really,
you had
probably.
tutors.
Yeah. I was more I had tutors more than so much as
But when you were learning the things from these tutors, were you a student or were you not a student?
yeah.
Then why would she have to be going here to be a student? And if she wants to learn things from me, she's going to be my student. Even if it's just for me pointing her to where the bathrooms are.
Suppose that makes sense.
I am sorry, perhaps one day she will understand. Learning is a gift and it is everywhere. No, please tell me I'm not going to have to kill anything stupid.
No. But we would like to invite you to dinner. We have some questions about a possible colleague or student of yours. And would like to discuss.
Out of character, Clarity, you're smart. You might want to point out that it's not so much necessarily a colleague of hers. It's somebody who, at some point in the past, has probably pissed her off.
Well, somebody who probably made you very mad and got kicked out and or fired, something along those lines.
Ah, right. Yes. So we are here for my troubleshooting because somehow all of my studies into graviturgy keep getting interrupted with nonsense. Okay, part of this was my own fault. I really wanted... We had one of the professors from a while ago. She turned down tenure even. But she's very good with abjuration magics. And there's a component of that in what I do. So I really wanted to go to her workshop, but I had to do a favor to make up for some of my deficiencies in the extracurriculars because I don't know what they expected me to do. Join up with the flying sporks? But I apparently do so well at this that they want me to troubleshoot all the time. I am honestly glad for that the other ones, they had their own business to do. Honestly, I think I might almost rather be facing down evil king something or other than doing this half the time. You say you want to take me out for dinner.
Yes. I hear that Toolies is a favorite.
Pause for a minute. Gets up from her chair and yeah, this woman is Short, easy to care for, easy to brush. Brownish hair going gray. Pretty gray, actually. Um, Moderately average build, carrying a really interesting looking cane that's kind of got elements of wizard stuff, kind of has elements of wand, and only basically a walking stick by default at this point. And she kind of stumps towards you in a way that's like you can either move into more of the space, because all there is like rows of a couple of bookshelves, stacks of books, and about 5 foot clear around her desk on either side. And yeah, you're gonna have to move to get out of her way as she stumps towards the door and going, Steele, I'm going to have... Steele, you're going to pull the troubleshooter files. And then you are going to set a date for me to yell at you about giving my preferences to strangers. I will gladly take the admonitions if it does mean you eat more than a single meal in a single day. This is, you will remember, a part of my job. I will fetch the troubleshooter file. Bottom drawer of desk, apparently. There's about 3 of these, and they're... You know those big ring binders?
The doom binders that you get at certain job locations.
Yes. You know what happens when you put too many documents in them and they start kind of expanding?
They stretch.
Yeah, well, it not the natural stretch. It won't shut all the way anymore unless you put like rubber bands around it and stuff. There's 3 of those.
And they're all filled to bursting.
Yeah, they like I say, there are 3 of those.
Straining, oh no, if anything else gets put in here, it's going to detonate and papers everywhere.
Will we be needing anything within the last 5 years? Probably not, but bring it just to be on the safe side. You know Toulouse has enough table space. Well, this is a lot of people. You know, I'm not going to dinner with anyone until I find out what everybody's name is. I know you. Ms. Belasco, please just call me Cherie. It's going to be a very interesting evening otherwise. And I've heard of you, points at Remy. You, points at Alice. Please don't point that thing at me. Alice, Featherwind, nice to meet you. Yes, I saw the play. Why were the rest of you not in the play?
Not thematically relevant.
Also, you kind of weren't there. I'm sure they would have included you if you'd been there. And you weren't there either. Actually, to be fair, I think it was only Ava who was. And that only for the actual literal resurrection part. Because like I keep telling you, you met me, I was dead.
Yep.
You have had roster change.
Several.
I'm going to have to ask about that. I heard thing about Toulouse. Gods rest your souls. Stump out the door. I am assuming we're going to follow her.
Yes.
Probably.
And yeah, Steele comes along behind, effortlessly carrying this stack of massive binders.
Stack of the nope binder.
Yeah. This place is not far. It's not really in the eatery district. Because there are some eateries that aren't in the eatery district, largely for, as a for instance, the student population. The sign reading Toulouse is neon. You guys are just about getting used to neon signs, just about. Inside, it looks kitsch kind of homey. The big tables, red and white checked tablecloths, pine chairs. There isn't a maitre d', but you do get one of the servers going, "I'm going to find a stool or a bench or something. Just sit wherever and we'll replace a chair once you pick a table." There are a few students in there, and that's the thing. There are no tables for two. Tables for four are generally taken up by one person and their notes. Which is why there's a lot of space here, but not very many customers. Apparently this is where research projects happen.
That. Oh. Oh, this is Project Central. This is where something gets formulated and then hopefully doesn't explode.
Sometimes they want it to explode. And sits down. Waiter brings chair, will bring stool, replaces chair with, we do short menu. So, drinks. We have the general complement of soft drinks, or we have, student flavor of the month.
What is that? Because I need to try it.
Honestly, the reason we have student flavor of the month is because we give it to people and they tell us.
All hail the power of surprise me, I guess.
You
I'll have one too.
you wish to surprise us as well. You have Professor August looking at you and going, I really do feel like I am sitting around a table with Academy students.
Probably not far off, in all honesty, given the absolute nonsense we have walked face first into.
You know what? I am just going to bring flavor of the month for everybody. Unfortunately, the chalkboard menu is likewise unilluminating. There is basically you have get up and go, beef, got up and went, chicken, and brain fuel, seafood. There is also somewhat smaller rabbit option, vegetarian. And to be fair, some student or other has actually drawn Peter Rabbit style bunny standing on hind legs, but this one's wearing the fluffy hat and the feather and playing a viol instead of a lute, which is as close as they've got to Darvin the Bunny Bard.
Oh dear God, the Bunny Bard thing is everywhere now.
I'm inspired.
We'll have to tell Darwin about this. He'll love it.
Either that or his brain's going to start leaking out of his ears. I'm not sure which is going to happen first.
You have waitress this time, halfling, relatively young, so probably hasn't been at the academy all that long, and is putting down glass bottles filled with deep red soft drink of some kind with little teeny flecks in it if you look close enough. Bink, bink, bink. If anybody wishes for a straw, I will find one for you. I should warn you that the got up and went, and it in particular is a little over the top, spices wise.
Wait. Hold on.
A chicken one.
Did I hear that correctly? Spice?
Yes, we have somebody who has come in from the people in Eombach, and they've got the experimentation with the menu this week, so things gonna be a little bit spicy. Except for the the bunny option. That's me because Cause does not know what to do with vegetables very much. He's learning.
I'm now, I mentioned the spicy and the people thing. I'm just looking at Alice and just with the look of apoplectic glee.
I'll say it's just, well, we'll see what a mix of the people and Egref actually tastes like. You are, yes, I am of the people. I am not going to tell Kaz you are here until you leave, because he will come out and there will be a problem. Not that he is bad or anything, but he will not shut up. Or, okay, he won't shut up by people's standards. We have a hard time getting 10 words out of him. He always looks very annoyed when we do not know what sign language means. But that's not our language. Anyway. So I take it the chickens for you, yes. And for you. And everybody keeps looking at you when talking about the bunny, so vegetables for you?
Brain fuel.
I'll also try the brain fuel.
I think I'm going to have the get up and go just so that we've got a good spread across the table.
Oh, those two pieces.
And Professor August she's apparently ignoring the menu entirely. My usual. Very good. So, you are hearkening to my troubleshooter days, which admittedly are not over yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
I warn you, before I'm to be helping you, I need all of the information, because I know adventurers. I kind of was one. And I know that they will say as little as they can get away with. Yes, I'm looking at you, Miss Stoic Face. And Alice is Mrs. Stoic Face, if you don't mind.
We're hunting an alchemist who assisted in building a bomb that is fueled by the souls of just about all of the Asimar that once lived on the world. And if they set it off, it will probably blow a hole in reality or something else
Alice
really bad.
being in specifics, not even really their souls. It's the celestial spark from their souls that made them Azamar to begin with. So it's missing anything that serves in magical terms as reason, and probably just defaulting to rage, insofar as energy can be said to have rage. Oh, it can. It can. So, okay.
Anything divine, especially.
This we're going to have to be taking in stages. Okay, so Asimar. I had vaguely heard rumors that we had some of those. And now we don't have any of those anymore. We have 3. Why do you have wings? Wedding present. Look, you cannot blame me for asking. Anybody would be asking. Actually, I should be glad you're asking. It means you haven't seen that fucking play. Steele is like, alright, I retroactively apologize for trying to oblige her to see it, mostly because it was what was playing at the time, and I just wanted her out of the office for a few hours, for once. I like my office. It is my fortress. The stupid does not get me there. You do have to leave it for lessons, however. I am supposed to be on vacation. This should be more fun. It's... Alright, it's adventurers. I apologize. I also apologize, but you have to admit, this is end of the world here. Okay, so we have the divine spark of several hundred ASMR.
I don't think we have an exact number.
Yeah, that's kind of why she's... But probably somewhere in the few hundreds. Wasn't many.
Something like that.
How did they all die?
Blood magic.
Blood magic ritual.
And if they didn't die, they turned into apes.
Okay, now that's ridiculous because there is no spell in the world that would just remove all of the bits that are not meat but still make you you. Oh, and turn you into Aranese at the same time. That's not possible.
Separate thing. That was a separate ritual. The bunch that turned into Aranese first, and then they did the other thing that yanked the divine spark out of near every other Aasimar.
Oh no, I was postulating that it ripped soul and divine energy and then just kind of destroyed the soul. Alice is kind of side-eyeing her like, do you fucking mind? That is my species!
Professor.
I am aware, but I need to be getting to the bottom of this, so I am sorry for your losses, but we are going to be talking about this pragmatically. Mostly because I don't really know how to do it any other way. Steele is like, I have perhaps not had the best teacher for empathy. I am trying, but I'm sorry, one person's feeling versus world getting hole punched in it? I know what I care about more, so okay. Different rituals, okay, that narrows some things down because I ask this mostly on the basis that it narrows down specialities. So, how are you to be knowing he's alchemist?
Well,
Based
there was a
on
s-
what I observed from seeing him working with the Irenes.
There was also a smell about him, and he had burn scars, mostly on his head,
It doesn't
bald,
always
pale.
doesn't always signify. Rylan, Barnabas, remember why you talked to Molly in the first place? You might also have something to do with metalwork and fabrication. And glasswork and that kind of thing. Because that thing, the bomb was, what you saw largely was metal, glass, glowy.
Well, there could be a whole bunch of metalwork and glasswork going to what we saw. It was basically metal and
Yeah.
glass. Yeah, glowy, right? I
Mhm.
can't think of the way to
Yeah.
describe
Okay, the physicalities not usually my remit. You're talking to the wrong troubleshooter, but Ethelwyn has been trying to beat up Evil King for a while now.
It's basically
Wait. Evil King.
Yes, we
Sorry. Did
yes.
you mean the evil king that would have been in Black Crown?
I mean, probably she tried to play everything very much close to the chest, but when you are making your entire life about building suit of weaponry you kind of figure some things out.
In this case, it's
Well,
what we understand. It's a less carefully made and more unstable version of a device that the quick flight diminutive used in the past.
Okay. Unfortunately, that does not signify so much either, because we've had 3 separate department heads trying to prod the quick flights into that one. But at the end, because it requires a skilled singer to do, we keep getting letters from quick flights saying, you know, if your students try this, the world is going to have a massive problem. So I would not imagine that it was anybody that checking who reads what in the library is going to avail us of very much at this point, simply because we don't have the notes on these for reasons of... We don't want people to get that kind of ideas. That's when you need a steel singer for that. There is only the one, and there you go. So, how old are... I'll say kind of silent image. Nobody I find familiar, but that does not necessarily signify. I am not generally the one who was chasing folks around and making sure that they stopped doing what they were doing. I would generally pin them to floor, wall, ceiling, if I got close enough anyway, and it would be the other ones who would chase them. So, alchemy with blood magic, possibly they're minor. And fabrication. Probably also would have done some spirit searching. Still, you have 56 students who fit those parameters within the last 25 years.
including the physicality?
The notes
Probably
do
don't
not
have
have
benchmarks.
any pictures of the physicality.
What about mental instability? This individual was cackling quite a lot, was taking a saw and then a sledgehammer to the bomb.
It's actually Steele who says, pardon me, Ms. Melreth, but I really do only have 3 words for you at this particular juncture. This is Egref.
Sure, but
No,
I mean,
I am sorry, you do not understand the nature of the Academy. There are a great many mentally unstable, by standard definitions, individuals at this school. The thing is that a great many of them can turn their disabilities into advantages. We have some people who have a very distinct horror of anything to do with dirt, for example, and things have to be just so. There is at least 3 people in our current alchemy department that do have this particular disability. However, all they tend to need is the right set of gloves and that attention to detail that allows them to avoid that single speck of dirt, makes them some of the best alchemists of our age. Unfortunately, mental instability is not a contributing factor. Also, it is potentially possible that it was only later, when they were doing their own thing outside of the university's auspices, that they truly began exhibiting this behavior.
that's fair enough. I'm just trying to cover the basis of what we know about this individual, especially considering that, there's different types of mental instabilities, and there's this particular kind of one where one would take a saw or a sledgehammer to a bomb.
At which point it's just Professor August says, "Look, people get overconfident and frustrated. The two in concert are not a great thing. Some things don't mix. Also, as for the cackling, we have several groups of students who do that as a theatrical pose. They seem to think that it is a part of the aesthetic. It is always lab coats and big goggle glasses and mwahahaha, we'll show them all. And generally what they are showing us is, I think they're calling them trebles."
Wait, what?
And Steele, actually, it is difficult to actually explain a tribble, but have you ever seen a Pomeranian?
Yes.
Imagine one of those, but with no legs, tail, or visible face. That apparently breed through budding, and each individual one creates at least 2 every hour.
Ah.
How has that not completely filled the city?
The experiment was abandoned, and some of our furriers have wonderful new earmuff material.
Okay, just out of spontaneous curiosity, was that in any way related to what got Sweetwater banned from the city?
If you mention that name again, I am going to make sure your dinner ends up on your head and this interview is over.
Anyways.
Yes, we've actually gone past break time because apparently when you guys start talking to Professor and Nathalie August, it's mental. But we'll wind into break with your meals arrive, and I will describe them to you a little more when we come back. And we're back, still at Thule's, and dinner has been served. Those of you who went with the chicken actually get whole, small chickens. Very small chickens. Roasted. The skin is kind of an off reddish with whatever spices they've put on it, and it's stuffed with various vegetables that also smell rather spice-laden. And there's also these sort of off-blue potato-looking things. Those of you who ordered the beef mostly have strips of beef on rice with some veggies. It smells more sweet. Basically think beef teriyaki, which is kind of unfortunate because you do also get chopsticks. I'm going to hand to fate and see if chopsticks have made it to Ravnica. That's a 1. Chopsticks have not made it to Ravnica.
Really go for some beef teriyaki right now.
God, I've done it again. But anyway, and the vegetable dish is, honestly, you're not entirely sure what vegetables are in there. You're assuming there's some tomato because it's red, but as a base. But you're pretty sure there's some onions and something purple, and that might be a mushroom. And it smells good, but you have no the fuck idea what's in it. And the seafood dish is kind of garlic, buttery prawn and spinach on rice. Is very much for the proteins and the irons. It gets the energy levels up. And the soda, by the way, actually tasted like it was a cherry soda with cinnamon,
Hmm.
except like raw cinnamon, not dusty cinnamon. So, of the 56, is there any other way we can be narrowing this down?
Does the school have an address attached to those names?
Even if we did, we would not be telling you. There is still confidentiality, and besides, are you really going to be looking through? The whole reason I was saying was because even if we were giving you addresses, which we would not give specific addresses, that is ridiculous, would you be searching 56 people's houses?
No. The question would be more of the ones that might not have been seen in the city for some time.
Well, if they're
And narrow down the
if they're
list.
bad enough to be on there, they probably aren't in the city anymore, because why would you stay if everybody knows you are no longer with the academy for reasons? We have to tell the shop owners and the manufacturers and the people. When people come for jobs, they ask for credentials. That is why the Calatel grant is so important.
Hmm.
And if they are disgraced pupils, we're not going to be having them be hired by somebody making blenders.
Well, is there a record kept of the students that have been censured for doing something unethical that would be tossed out from the academy? That's what hopefully would narrow down the number of the list of those names.
The deal is, that was what I was telling you. I would not have given the name if they had not been censured and removed. I would not have numbered them among what
Okay.
you were looking for if they had not been censured and removed from the academy.
Hmm.
There are some who keep their proclivities quiet, and perhaps they leave on their own. However, it does not sound as though that student would have been able to lie low. What can we offer here, Steele? Because I know they are asking a very generalized question, but I also understand why they're asking it, and we should probably be giving them something. Well, we do not tend to keep very much track of these individuals once they have left the city, because they have ceased being a civic issue. If they had gone to elsewhere in Cabreval, we might have heard something from the mining consortium or similar. However, that would not go to the academy. That would go to the government building. So if none of that has been mentioned in any recent meetings with the governor, have you asked the governor about this? And Alice says, no, we had a lunch with them, and maybe we could have asked something, but that didn't go very well. So I am curious as to how this did not go well. I have always understood Governor Atiel to be a personable, if somewhat chaotic individual. However, this silence indicates to me that it is not my business.
I'm just looking at Alice and Remy with a questioning expression.
Alice's not getting involved in this.
Remy takes a long drink.
And because Steele is actually a monk. Ah. I see.
I think the only way to describe it was an extreme foot in mouth moment.
Character, when we were fighting the giggling lunatic and all that, the traps, were they already there? Or was it they're
You're
doing?
pretty sure that given that they were in a Tiamat temple and every single piece of that was Tiamat themed.
Right.
And Steele, funnily enough, when the foot in mouth question comes up, goes, however, your initial bard is not with you. I believed that they were the ones that had a tendency to polish their own boot with barbecue sauce to ameliorate the effect of foot in mouth.
We seem to have picked up the slack in that department, unfortunately.
Aha. Well, all that I can say is that there are places where those who are encouraged to leave the academy will tend towards 3 places. Sometimes they will find a unconsidered quarry somewhere in Cobreval. As you may be aware, Cobreval is long and narrow, and very little of it happens above ground. Most of what happens groundside in Cobreval is the occasional quarry. Some, as I understand it, decide to harness some of the energies of the volcanic activity in Cragveer, and others find the Alamira wastes, and I believe they are, generally speaking, handled by either the Dune folk, the Brass Arrows, or the native flora and fauna, and either way are never heard from again.
Ah. Oh boy. Honestly, the only way to narrow this any further would involve the Omen Griffin.
The professor was Ullman Griffin? Yeah, Michigan has, while Hazel has been groping for words, Michigan has been going after the bones of the tiny chicken. And again, the heat does not seem to be affecting this bird at all. Delicious!
Omen Griffin.
You have a church griffin?
Who has essentially become the channel for divine divination and commune magics.
Well, they do say that the gods speak through the young, the old, the dying, and the mentally infirm. Crunch. Delicious! See, head empty. Nothing but channel for gods. Michigan is still eating your dinner, by the way.
How much has he gotten into at this point?
Well, it started with the wing bones that you left behind, and now if you do not restrain this animal now, you're going to be missing the entire breast of your small chicken.
just latch onto him, separate a chunk, and, and scooch him to the side a smidge. That's yours.
Delicious.
I'm gonna actually try to consume mine before you eat all of it.
Yeah, it is rather unfortunate because once that's done, Michigan is doing what Flitty does, only less politely, bouncing around the table, and you kind of have to move stuff so that he doesn't upset them because also Michigan is somewhat bigger than Flitty, and begging for bits. Delicious?
Oh dear.
Give him
Don't give him-
Tron.
Yeah.
Revenge story.
It's clear that kind of wants to stick beak into Ryland's vegetable dish, but restrains himself barely. You just have a vibrating crow church griffin sitting by your plate.
Yes.
Delicious?
I like make a small bite with one of the purple things and just
Yeah, that would be eggplant, by the way. You've never had eggplant. Yeah, basically there's eggplant, zucchini, something you think is some kind of squash. It's kind of the most comprehensive ratatouille in the world. Yarmp. Delicious. And it kind of bundles into your lap. Snug?
Gritch.
Snug.
Yes, come into
Yeah, no, it's
come into lap. Have snug.
he's in your lap. That's why I just bundled into lap, looked up, and went snug.
Yes,
So
snug.
all you have to do is wrap arm, and that is snug. Of course, it does only leave you with one hand for eating, but it's mostly chunks. You're fine. Snug. And Sherry is, well, I mean, we did speak to Molly Cathay, and possibly if she sourced any of the materials, she might be able to give us some ideas. Wait a minute. I vaguely know the name. Tends to get a lot of attention. Not usually in my classes, but half Eladrine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she was talking about making for Steel a pet.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I am unsure about this entire situation. I already have something to take care of. Fair enough. But yes, no, when it comes to finding out things about a thing by the materials it is using, honestly, probably more her or some of her professors. Although I honestly would not want to talk to some of her professors, and I generally don't like to talk to any of her professors, because all they talk about these metal things. If you want to make something stamped flat, you just make it stamped flat. You don't have to use machinery. All due respect, that is your area of expertise. Well, yes, but they could just learn, and then you would no longer have that cachet. You really need to stop being right all the time. Yes, I apologize that we could not narrow it down as much as you would have liked. However, you must understand that this academy attracts the adventurous.
We've definitely noticed. especially given the one whose name I'm not allowed to say again.
Do not bring her up at all. Stop it. Stop it, you.
Setting up.
So, yes, some of you have made quite the names for yourselves around Egref. Nobody wishes to expand upon these. I just want to have an actual conversation. Now that, unless you have any further questions about these, I think that conversation is more or less done. And I'm going to get mechanical looks if I don't try to do something social.
What have you heard about us?
Well, I've heard there is a play. I
There's
have...
a play, and there's probably only going to be more, depending on what people figure out about who.
As well.
Yes, I know about the stained glass window.
And, well, then there's the relation to the quick flight diminutives that's also a thing.
Which probably at least somewhat explains the there is a book.
Yeah.
It is book for young ones. Is teaching the alphabet by farm animals and things.
It's a useful way to do it, I think.
Yes, but is I think the title is a little cumbersome, but is Paler Sunshines on Hearth Home.
What?
And has a sort of a U and this big fluffy yellow cat that looks kind of evil. Or at least that's what the main receptionist is drawing for the cover.
Wait. How do they know about you?
I don't know. Perhaps they have an omen griffon of their own.
I'm just turning towards Barnabas. Was this what you were...
Obviously lying. No.
You're going to find free samples. You're going to find free samples of burn lichen and several things you're going to consume.
Can we not waste good burn lichen that way?
Okay, fair. I won't go that far. I'll find something else spicy.
You could just attempt to stick your finger in his ear like you used to do with Darwin. I mean, okay, he's a little tall for that, but you're determined.
Good point. Very good point.
I'm sorry, dude, but you when the jig's up, you don't just lie. I don't know why you didn't stick with later in the first place. You know what she's like.
Yeah, this was not one of my more considered ideas.
Sure he
Hazel, apologies. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure he really is. You are
Okay.
so lucky.
No
I
finger
love
in
you.
ear today.
It was...
I'm kidding, you great goober.
Okay.
That one she does normally reserve for Darwin. Yes, we do have a few places whose vegetarian special bears the Bunny Bard seal of approval.
Here. God. Yeah,
He was
that on the
actually-
menu and everything.
Yes,
That's-
there are 4 or 5 places. Having a potential customer turning into a bunny every so often made people think we should think a little harder about those who cannot or do not eat the meats.
That apparently became a whole prolific thing.
Have you heard of the Adventurers Abomination?
What? Steel
Oh,
is
no.
it's difficult with metal features, but you'd swear the look Steel's giving you is reproachful.
Wait, sorry, what was the look? Didn't quite catch
Reproachful.
that.
Like, why the fuck did you have to say that?
Darwin may have combined several varieties of ice cream into a thing. Trying to remember where it was that this happened.
Harley's Surf and Turf.
By way of Harley's Surf and Turf.
Oh. Is that why Super Scoops does the weekly abomination challenge?
That
Most
could well
likely.
be it, yes.
I'm just waiting for the first person to ask what the fuck that is, because Professor August is leaving it there.
But wait, but who or where?
Super Scoops. It is about a half a block down that way, and every week they do a new, shall we say, interesting specialty dessert on the menu. Is either a sundae or ice cream topped waffle or a milkshake. And the flavors are combinations previously unconsidered by man or beast.
Are they anything like the jelly bean things?
That depends on the week. But the thing is, if you can manage to consume the entire thing, the order for the entirety of you is free, and if there is only you, you get book of coupons for more desserts later on. You can go there if you want desserts, but they don't go near Super Scoops.
Fair enough.
Also, this place does not do all that much in the way of desserts.
Understandable.
Unless you want the donut roll.
Eh?
That sounds promising.
Not particularly. Is not the most inventive kinds of donuts in the world. Basically, you're all new to here, so you know how donuts have a hole in them,
Mm-hmm.
and you know how wheels have axles.
Mm-hmm.
Take an axle and you fill it up with donut, and then you can kind of hold it and then eat it like corn on the cob. But is not much of a muchness. Is only cinnamon sugar and not great.
Okay.
If you want donuts, you go to Rossini's.
We'll see. Thank you.
Good to know.
So is there anything else I can be telling you? Because I could be doing something else right. And Steele is socialize. Fine, I will socialize for like 10 more minutes.
I don't think if there's anything else we could ask her.
Oh, why is this one obsessed with donuts?
I just like sweets
Uh,
of all kinds.
This. Tell her about the fudge. Tell her about the entire barrel.
What? So when I first met this crew, there was turns out it was like I said, I have a major sweet tooth, and I apparently shocked them all because at this one fudge shop, I bought them out because it was good enough, and I wanted to make sure I had enough to last for a while.
I'll say is, just to set the scene a little better. Picture a very tiny town. Like, general store, inn, multi-faith shrine, leather crafter, forge, and that's about it, except for the candy store and the woolens place, which were technically kind of joined. And one woodworker guy, because I don't think your friend would be thrilled with me for getting them. But they're not a part of this story, and the sweets and woolen shop is. Picture a tiny sweet shop. I know it's difficult because Egref, but all of this is homemade. None of your manufacturing, right. All made by hand, by one person, because unfortunately the initial owner of the place had passed on. Barnabas, new to the area, new to, well, just about everything in... This was Baronsvere, you see. Oh, I see. So, podunk. Got it in one.
Yeah.
So he walks in, and because he got his start more or less in Equitas, he was a little bit more used to mass-produced things. He wasn't used to a shop being stocked entirely with homemade goods where you can taste the love. Tried one piece of this fudge, and then and it was not just a keg, it was 3. Small casks, but one of each flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain you funded the continued operation of that shop for the next decade.
Yeah, and he should...
You're a contributor to my hometown now.
and he
I don't regret it at all.
And he should, when we're next back in Ambier, and he gets more fudge from that fudge patch place, see if he can charm Dala out of some of her recipes to take back to Goldendale so that maybe she can expand her operations more. I know the fudge patch stuff is homemade too, and so Dala would know what it was like to make shop batches.
I'm certainly willing to try.
Well, given I'm pretty sure you wouldn't mind throwing money at her for it, so there you go.
Yeah. Oh boy, now you've reminded me of home. You got me thinking. I'm still thrown about how much of a home is made out of quick flight diminutives in retirement.
Oh, they had to go someplace. No?
Yeah, it's just all of them in the same location.
Alice is there's like 4 of them. One lives in Egref and another runs a bar in Belarus.
Then there's Mama, Lyra.
And your steel singer.
Yeah.
That's only 4. And I know the group wasn't that big, but it was more than 4. Because you don't want to forget Belladonna or Bookbow and Dragon Dude.
Belladonna's scary. Met her once.
He's certainly,
Still terrified.
he's certainly intimidating.
Well, I guess we will be seeing her again, or probably we won't all go, because we're a bit much en masse.
Mm.
But that does
Yeah.
mean we have at least another day or so in the city. Professor August ponders for a minute, then looks over at Clarity. You know what is a museum? No. I don't think Baronsville has museums.
No.
No clue.
is a place of education where they put exhibits, displays of either old things or interesting things or artsy things, and um, I think at the moment the the Conundrum Museum has a special exhibit on non-magical hand slide. It takes a minute that she means sleight of hand, so she means like the kind of tricks you bought a book for at Puzzled. But they are the bigger ones because, you see, one thing you might not know about here is that there are some who are interested in making it look like magic has taken place when no magic has taken place. Like people teleporting or being cut in half.
Ooh.
Like illusions?
Well, potentially, you don't really know. That's the thing. It could be an illusion, it could be not, but the point of the museum is not just to look at the things and learn how they worked. The point is to look at the things and guess how they worked. And you write down how you think it worked in that particular exhibit anyway. And you feed it into a thing, and if you got all of the things right, I don't know what the prize is, I have not bothered, but apparently there is prize.
That sounds like fun.
Well, it is a way to kill a day that does not involve the theater. I understand we don't talk about the theater either. Thank you.
Thank you for adding that to the list.
Sheree clearly notices that, yeah, Professor August just wants gone, and you guys have nothing further to ask. Thank you very much for your time. I will be handling the cost of the meal. I hope you enjoyed, and it was very good to meet you. You made an appointment is good. And Steele just kind of picks up the files and walks out with Professor August stomping
Thank
along
you.
behind.
Nice meeting you.
It's sort of a half wave.
How is it that we keep meeting people who are terrifying?
We're adventurers.
In point of fact, we're adventurers who are basically trying to save the world. If we didn't keep meeting terrifying people, we'd be doing this wrong.
I mean, fair point.
I think she means the maternal kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
You are
I'm getting
you are
flashbacks to mom.
basically you are having the issue that you're seeing a whole lot of people out there more competent in your eyes than you are and think they should be doing what you are.
A little bit. A lot of bit. Yes!
Well, how do you think they learned? It might not have been big save the world, but it was probably a little save the world. And according to what Cherie said, that one's been troubleshooting an academy where kicking people out for being batshit is commonplace.
Oh boy.
We just got thrown in at the deep end right away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's not sure if that's gonna stop it from continually throwing me off, but
So, do we want to look at this Super Scoops thing and then maybe stop by Rossini's for Barnabas and Shree's? Or, we could... tomorrow morning I could, well, a little across the city from... If I get up early enough, I can drop by Rossini's and bring the selection of donuts as breakfast pastries for breakfast at the Riddler's Stump in the morning. That way Barnabas gets his donuts, and we get to see what an Egref ice cream parlor looks like.
Sounds good to me.
I like this plan,
Here
and I'm
for
happy to be
that.
part of it.
This
Incidentally,
sounds like
it occurs to me that even with your new home from home, it might be good to generally get at least a room in an inn anyhow, just so that you've always got a space available that no one's going to think is weird when you just walk into a wall.
agreed.
If nothing else, what if somebody parks a wagon in front of where the door's supposed to be?
Good
At
point.
that point, yeah, wouldn't that turn into a situation of either we can't get out or we have to break the thing in the process?
Yes, we want to avoid property damage.
Yeah, that
If we're
understandable.
talking,
That's just me processing what would have to happen and why we don't want that to happen.
you had to process that? Pats Alice on the shoulder. You poor dear. Yeah, I love them
I
anyway.
have to get it out of my
I
into the air with words.
I know. I can still show sympathy. You're a lovely person, but I can imagine that adventuring with you would probably drive me slightly batty.
I still don't know how Alice has dealt with it. Or how you deal with us.
Love excuses much? Actually, yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Look, of course, in my case, it isn't just the romantic love. Like, y'all are my pack. You're your family. It's Darwin usually says this kind of thing, but that's what pack is. So, you know, Vord was always, you know, he had his own oddities and could drive you a little bit bug nuts, but besides, if I could deal with the wet towel elf, I could deal with just about anything.
Yeah, that is a fair point.
Honestly, eternally
And able to
grateful
put-
I never met the divination wizard.
You would have put your fist through his face.
You always said something about a hat, so no, the hat would have taken up permanent residence.
Ah, so you would have you would have just made the hat one with his head.
Just grab the edges, boom.
I mean, Remy. One of the first things I heard from Remy is Remy asking Hat Wizard if he'd been stabbed before.
Mhm.
That was literally the first thing I heard out of your face.
I mean, I guess it depends on what the context was, but I don't think that Ree, no matter how provoked, would be asking that with a view to would you like to start. If somebody my Ree thinks deserves the stabbing, they just get stabbed.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
may just have been a discomfort thing that he was trying to whinge about. If I know my Ree, it was something to the effect of, you think this is bad, try a stab wound.
Mm-hmm.
I
That
know my wife.
explains so much.
And yeah, Super Scoops is not a long way away, and yeah, we're talking for color scheme, think trans flag. Blue, pink, white stripes everywhere. It's actually set outside a bit of a courtyard, so you've actually got the little tables with the beach umbrellas over them, which nobody's sitting at the moment, and inside is this cotton candy explosion of pink, white, and blue stripes. Mid-size, the usual ice cream store counter. Are you going inside?
Yes.
Who is entering the door first?
Oh boy.
Me.
Yes.
I'm following that.
Well, yes, but no, this predominantly counts as the first person inside. Clarity gives the little ooh, and walks inside, and glitter. She is covered in glitter.
I should have expected this someday.
Babe, you have become Sparkle Motion.
There's a looks youngish, no real way to tell how old they actually are. Elven individual is about as far as you can get gender-wise. Hair in painted up to match the theme, same as the clothes. It stands out quite nicely because the skin is quite dark. It's like, yeah, that's standard. Basically, the first person who comes in every, 2 hours or so gets the glitter. Don't worry, it'll wash off eventually. I understand it tastes like watermelon, but I've never tried it myself. Yeah. Well, watermelon bubblegum is what it tastes like, so.
Weird. But tasty.
Yeah,
I'm just going to lick her cheek.
do we put her on the menu? I don't think we should put her on the menu.
Mine.
Why
Well,
would it?
That's the thing. You lick ice cream in here. Is she made of ice cream?
Am I made of ice cream?
So?
Sorry. Just imagining that is too interesting.
Yeah, so, okay. For the next 5 minutes, you kind of are.
Sweet.
What?
Yeah, so you're hugging her around, and there's kind of a squish.
What?
She looks very much like ice cream, and she seems to be radiating cold.
The hell?
Did you guys forget that her patron is a frickin' archfey of whimsy?
Whoa.
The elven proprietor is going, let me guess, you follow an archfey in some way, shape, or form. You're gonna go stand in the freezer for a while, okay? We have a walk-in.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's the thing. Your vocal cords aren't particularly working very well at the moment, so you gotta open your mouth and nothing really comes out, so. I'll check on you in a few minutes. Clunk. Yeah, you have to walk fairly carefully.
Squidge. Dear.
Yeah, Clarity basically gets in a kind of a sing-song, be careful what you ask for, be careful what you ask for the next 5 minutes.
We don't hear that, I assume.
No, because it's patron vision.
Right.
Okay,
What flavor am I?
probably black cherry. The hair is a kind of a blueberry swirl.
Nice.
Actually, to be fair, given skin tones, kind of a chocolate black cherry. I'm sure she'll be okay. Some archfey are just like that. So, have any of you guys heard of the Abomination Challenge?
Yeah,
Is anybody
we've very much heard of it.
Is anybody going for this? No, we're not allowed to tell you what it is until we put it in front of you.
You know
Barnabas
what?
is.
Screw it. I run on surprise me. I have to.
I knew it.
Okay, we're gonna give it a few minutes to see if your friend is gonna get involved, because if she wants it too, I don't want to spoil the surprise for her. The rest of you, take a look at our flavors on offer. We have also sauces, sprinkles, and glitter.
Praise be to flavor glitter.
Yeah, there really is only 3 normal flavors: chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. Everything else is like, it's either something like bubblegum or cotton candy or similar, or it's like Ben and Jerry's on the brown acid.
Mm.
You have caramel popcorn ice cream with pretzels.
That's
You
inventive.
you have the Aumbach Snowstorm, which is apparently vanilla ice cream, marshmallow sauce, and little white chocolate mousse and huskies. You have the pick and mix, which is literally some pink base ice cream. You're not sure what it is, but it has everything from like whatever they call M&Ms, little chunks of red licorice, gummy bears, and what you're pretty sure are those jelly beans. So that in and of itself is a potential abomination dessert staple. But, weird ass stuff like that. They do have slightly less weird, like cinnamon roll, tropical sorbet, something called purple haze that they won't even tell you what's in it. And after you've been perusing that for a few minutes, the sing-songing stops. You are back to normal and now getting very cold. But thankfully, Elven individual has timed it right. Opens up. Oh, good. Come on. And yeah, out you come.
I am no longer ice cream.
Good.
You're going to glitter for at least a week, because some of that glitter kind of melted into the ice cream when it was.
Yes.
So your armor sparkles, your face sparkles, your hair sparkles, and that will not wear off for a week.
The sparkles.
This might make stealthing a little harder for you, but you've got the stats to make up for it.
Already.
You got the stats to make up for it, but yeah, you have glittery clarity.
Okay. As ridiculous as the situation is, that is way more attractive than it has any right to be.
Okay, as I was saying, these two have decided to attempt the Abomination Challenge. We can't tell you what it is until you order it.
Yeah.
So, you see, I was right, because what I said was I didn't want it spoiled for you, so, in case you wanted it, so I wasn't gonna start making it up until... And I'm taking it, you lot, not so much.
Yeah, they're the supposedly rational ones.
I just know what I like, and I do actually see... Okay, I'm not entirely sure what some of the fruits are in that tropical sorbet, but I know my tropical fruits well enough to know that I probably want that one. Yeah, I will probably have the same, actually. I'm guessing Ree is just going for chocolate.
Yes.
I'm guessing chocolate, chocolate sauce, potentially chocolate sprinkles, because my Ree is all about the chocolate.
Hmm.
Yeah, so Remy gets the chocolate. I honestly want to know what Ryland's having.
Honestly, probably just from the descriptions alone, probably the Aenbach snow fields.
And Ava have any ideas or?
I'm thinking strawberry with the M&Ms.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't. Well, first of all, you don't know what the pink is, and it's not just M&Ms. I think you may have missed out on that one. It's a pink
No,
base.
I thought because you said in the beginning there was basically
There is strawberry, but M&Ms is not a topping. There is a pink ice cream. You're not sure what that is, but it could be strawberry. It might not, but it doesn't just have M&Ms either. It has M&Ms, chunks of red licorice, gummy bears, and those
right.
jelly beans.
Rather than just strawberry with the chocolate sprinkles. Then.
That's what she gets, and you guys. You know the average Eggo waffle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of those gets toasted, and while the other one is toasting, you're getting the theater concession stand pick and mix one with the jelly beans. That one. You're getting the purple haze, and you're getting something green, which is apparently just all things green. It seems to be a temporary flavor. From there, chocolate and butterscotch syrup is added. Multicolored sprinkles. Some whipped cream. And takes out like 5 different shakers of apparently different flavored glitter. And just shakes them randomly all over all of them. And then punk the other waffles and punk, punk. And no, you don't get utensils to eat this with.
Yeah.
Lo, does the attempt begin?
Yeah, lo, does the Constitution saving throw begin?
Fine. Let's see how well we tolerate this.
Oh,
That's right. Oh, if you're getting
That does
embarrassed,
kind of
yes.
track.
Yeah, well, I mean, Barnabas is just, I mean, it's okay. It's not as bad as the Adventurer's Abomination was, but you seem to have got some of the more savory end of the jelly beans. So, mostly it's kind of, there's a weird kiwi mint kind of from the green that you're mostly getting. Possibly some melon, but you're not sure. The purple is just, you really don't know what the fuck kind of berries that is, but there's at least 5 of them, and most of them you haven't even heard of. And some of those, and every so often in there, among the pink, which you think might be raspberry, but you're not sure. Somewhere in all of that, and the weird texture of gummies and things, every so often you get garlic, or processed cheese. And you only know it's processed cheese because Cherie has been telling you to avoid processed cheese, and this is like Velveeta nacho cheese dip. Jelly bean. So you know that it's meant to be cheese, but it tastes almost entirely unlike cheese as you know it. And the sprinkles, the glitter is various other fruits like watermelon, You think starfruit, banana, raspberry, and apple, and they kind of work, but they kind of don't. I mean, you're all managing to keep it down, but clarity, more or less the same, but she got a couple more of the not generally recommended for dessert flavored jelly beans in there. So at one point she got a combination of like kale and fried cabbage with sauteed onions. And one you were fairly sure is liver. But the rest of it was actually pretty good. And Hazel just got the best of all possible worlds. But you can definitely see how somebody who hasn't been running around going surprise me through Equitas for the last couple of months. Because let's face it, the minute you hit Equitas, it was surprise me, surprise me, surprise me. You were gonna be able to handle it just fine.
It's pretty good, but the liver is not it.
Yeah, I did tell them to be a little bit more circumspect or careful or something about what of the jelly beans we put in there, but Horace, he basically went, let's see if I can do it justice. But that is part of the adventure.
Does that make sense?
In any case, which one of these three is paying for this, and who's getting the coupons?
Say so amazing.
You know what? I'm giving her the coupons, and I'm giving you the coupons. Clarity.
Thank you.
Shree kind of looks at Barnabas's face and then gives like the rest of her ice cream, which was like a third. There was a third of it left. Here, cleanse your palate, darling.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's actually really nice. You get this mango, papaya, starfruit, little bit of coconut, pineapple, pina colada kind of feel to the tropical sorbet. And yeah, there is actually I think they call it Vermont. No, that the full Vermonti is something entirely different. But there is a Ben and Jerry's flavor that is literally vanilla ice cream, marshmallow syrup, and little white white chocolate polar bears. Possibly
The Vermonster.
I think they call it something different here.
Hmm.
But
I've never heard of this at all, so that's exciting.
yeah, well, pretty sure you could look it up. But then again, we get these things, but we tend to get them a little bit behind anyway. So yeah, and once poor Barnabas has cleansed his poor palate, it's don't worry, you'll have Rossini donuts to ease your pain. Is there anything else we have to do before? I mean, I suppose we shouldn't do anything right now because we do have at least a full day to kill. Which I know is not ideal, but it's less ideal to have Ava running around without a weapon. But is there anything that we might be able to do on the way? I'll take that as a no. Everybody has bookmarks. You have your new sweater.
Oh, don't we need to meet up with Molly?
Yes. I'm probably going to be a little later than this, judging by what she was saying, but we should make our way over there and see about the weight anyhow. Which I guess we'll have to handle tomorrow, because I suppose Darvin can do his skid from just about anywhere, but I'll work that out, and we'll pick this back up again in 2 weeks when we get Molly Talk and the return of the not so bunny bard. See you guys.